Right.
Coming from the Caveman Studios in Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Caveman Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Thanks.
Click subscribe and the bell. Do it now!
All right, we're here with the one, the only Paige McCarthy. I've been trying to get Paige on the podcast since the first time she fought, but apparently I wasn't asking in the correct manner, and I may have asked someone else to be on the podcast with her, and then it didn't work out so good, and I kind of feel like a real heel about it right now. But thank you for finally coming on the podcast. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad it worked out finally.
Yeah, I apologize that you did not feel invited. That was my fault. And Ray really pointed it out to me, so it was definitely my fault. But it's good to have you on, and good that you're finally here. So you are going to be fighting very soon. I have the picture here, and I'll bring it up, maybe, if I know how to work. We really need a manager to get this thing going. But Paige McCarthy is going to be fighting Ashley Pisano in just a few days. How are you feeling about this fight?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited.
What do you know about Ashley? You both have a fight in K4. You kind of both in the same boat. Well, actually, not really, because you won and she lost. But you both got one fight in, and it looks to be a good matchup. You have two?
Yeah.
Well,
In
she got two
K4?
fights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Man, what's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. Like I got punched in the head a whole lot right before this podcast. just to be fair, I literally came from training right into the middle of the other podcast. Normally, I prep and I have your record up and everything else. I know that you fight a Lombard, and I know your coach is Bruce, and he's a pretty awesome guy. And every time we come in, he says he's always going to come back. It seems like you guys kind of fight with the school seasons. Can you tell me a little bit about your gym and why you guys kind of like you're in and out of a lot of fights?
Yeah. So first, I do want to say Bruce is a really great coach. And I really like his gym a lot. But he goes with the school seasons because it's downtown Penn State, so he really only gets students to come in for like during the school year. So during the summer, there really aren't that many people there to train with. It's just like the people who live there, like the local. So I guess I'm a local now, and so I go in the summer for the most part. I take off a lot more, but it goes from like having 15 people in a class down to like 2 maybe. So it's hard to get ready if you want to fight if you only have like one other person to work with.
It's probably like a 196-pound big dude too, right?
Yeah. The classes over the summer, it was just me and one other guy, and he was like 200 pounds, and so it's not ideal if I was trying to get ready for a fight in the summer.
So when it's like that in the gym, are you able to do a lot of skill training and just not get sparring, or how does your progression go?
I don't know. I'd say we always work on a little bit of everything.
Bruce, he works with football players. They're obviously a lot of different sized people. He's got a lot of good hand fighting techniques, and it seems like it's pretty applicable to do with people of all sizes. Like obviously, jujitsu you can do with people of all sizes. You only do like stand up in the ring, but do you do any jujitsu as well?
Yeah, I usually do, unless I am in like a fight camp right now. I don't trust that the guys there won't. I just don't run risk getting hurt, and sometimes I get hurt a lot doing that. But when I'm not training to fight, then I like to do jujitsu. In hopefully this 2 years, I'd like to do an MMA fight, but I'm fine sticking with Muay Thai for right now.
I keep poking you about that too every time I see him. Like, when are you doing MMA? Because I know we talked about jujitsu a little bit last time I saw you at K4, but I apologize about your record too. You fought Christina Harris and Rachel and like Rochelle. I'm sorry, not Rachel. I always call her Rachel too. I for some reason in my mind that Rochelle fight was in a different organization, and I was like, I was like, when I talk about the K4 stuff, it's always just K4. So I apologize. I remember the fight too, and I did a podcast with both your opponents. So I definitely, I definitely wanted to get you on. So I finally got you on. I've had Ashley on before, so now we're even Stevens.
That's fair.
Yeah. I have another. I have a female student at my gym, and she's always the smallest person, and she always has to work with guys too, and she runs into very similar problems. Is this something? I don't know how many women you talk to. Is this something that you run into a lot, or do you think it's kind of just a smaller gym problem?
I think it's fairly common, but I definitely think it depends on the area. There's other girls that come to the gym, but Bruce has it by like skill level, and people can advance through the rounds or whatever. But there's not a lot of girls that come consistently that are like in my group.
I got you.
But when there are girls that come, it's exciting. People that are more close to my size and everything else.
Do you think that gives you an advantage in a cage most of the time? But you're mostly working with bigger people?
I think it can. It just depends. One, I think it makes it not as realistic, but I do think it can help with skill if they're a lot bigger and stronger and better, then you're working with that.
Do you think the speed matches up? I think this is a problem. So this is like kind of not really dealing with the fight, but just women training in general. A lot of times when guys train with the guys and girls train, and there's not a lot of girls, the guys move at a speed that's pretty fast, but it's not the same speed as ladies. So when you actually get in there with another female, the speed is just a little bit different. Do you find that's a problem, or do you think it's not really a problem for you?
Um, I don't really think it's a problem. I have a few good training partners to stick with when I'm in like a fight camp, and I think they're pretty good about like something to be more realistic.
Very cool. You are fighting Ashley. What do you know about her?
At first I didn't recognize that her name or anything, and then when I went to kind of just like look into it, I realized that I actually got to watch her fight in person. I think we were down. I didn't fight that day, but I was just down to watch my teammates, and I remember watching the fight actually.
How do you think you're gonna match up with her? That girl Kennard is like so tall. Has a different body style matchup for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely not as tall as her other opponent, but I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be. Yeah.
How do you think you match up with her? Do you think you're gonna be able to? I know her school that she trains with now sounded a lot. She trains WNY and then she trains with the guys over at Doyle's gym. They're very well known for the clinch, so I know she's really been working on her clinch. I haven't seen her in person, so I don't feel bad talking about this. I normally don't talk about people in the gym, but I know that she's training with a really good clinching school, and I know she was not happy that she got knee to death in her first fight. So I'm looking to see her very improved in the clinch. How do you think that's going to play into your guys' fight?
I think it'll work fine. Bruce has his focus on everything. There's not really one skill that he works on more than the other. So I'd say he's pretty well rounded coaching us.
Right. So this is not something that you really plan to do as all clincher then, because in both your fights you seem physically dominant over both your opponents. Um, I remember you. I really thought that Christina was gonna be a little bit tougher in the clinch, and you seemed like you just pushed her around a little bit. I was a little bit surprised by that.
Well, my fight with Christina was a kickboxing fight, so we weren't.
Like every time you guys like clinched up though, you seem physically dominant to her. And like I've been in the training room with her, and like she kind of like pushes other girls around, like pushes them back. And like there was none of that in your fight. Like you kind of control the whole pace. And to me, that means you're like pretty physically dominant. Like when I say that, I don't mean it to sound like you're a dude or anything. Like it's a compliment, really.
No, thank you. No, I didn't think of it that, but yeah, I guess that's just when it maybe that plays back to like training with people who are always bigger. And
So you're going into this fight, third fight in. We talked about off air, so your weight is really good. Um, what is a training week like for you leading up to the fight? Are you training hard now? Are you relaxing? Like, what's this week like for you since you're on weight?
um, I mean, we're obviously not doing anything too hard that can really risk me getting hurt or anything. But I guess we're just focusing on kind of the same thing that we were, just toned down a little bit.
Nice. So it's pretty much training as usual, just no contact.
Yeah.
Like no serious contact, like sparring, and that's cool. When I first started fighting, we used to like spar hard, like even the night before the fight. Like it was crazy. We were not very smart, but Ray's shaking his head. But those days are long over, and you guys are all smarter athletes now. And Bruce is a really good coach. He's not gonna let you guys do that. What is your training schedule like? How often you get to train? How much time you spend in the gym? What's like a typical week leading up into a fight for you? Like during fight camp, obviously not during the off season.
Well, I'm usually adamant about doing cardio, and I just help with like strength and whatnot. And then if I can go to grappling, then I go to grappling. That's usually not during fight camp. And then I usually go 5 days a week.
So about 10 hours a week in the gym, 2 hours of class, or a little bit longer than that.
No, that's probably accurate.
And then cardio too, so I'm looking at like 14, 15 hours a week at least.
Yeah.
So that's basically like a part-time job, really. Like, so
It's like it's like a part-time job.
yeah, for real. So like all you guys that are watching, like, you have to realize she's spending like 15, 16, 17 hours plus drive. So maybe like 20 hours a week, every week, training to fight. So you guys can really help out her cause if you go when you buy your tickets, you put in K4 McCarthy. She will get credit for the ticket sales. So if you guys are watching, I know there's people watching right now. If you just put in when you buy your tickets, because you guys are going to buy tickets. I know if you're watching this, you're buying tickets, whether you're for this fighter, another fighter, or you're just coming for the fights. If you just put in K4 McCarthy, she'll get credit for the ticket sale and it'll help her out.
Hey,
She's
Caveman,
not getting paid to do this, and she's putting in like 20 hours a week. It's like a part-time job. So let's please help this lady out and give her some cash in her
Caveman,
pocket.
do you got the link?
I don't have the link. I can look it up if you can talk for a minute.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I thought you had the link from the last show.
Yeah, I already deleted it because I put in the link for this thing. I will. I'll pull it up right now. I'll go to K4. You can also watch the fights on K4 TV and
Right.
K4fighting.tv, and you can hear my voice and Ray's voice
Yes.
and all the other voices that are going to be there, like Ben Field. I'm sorry, I'm talking and looking up stuff at the same time, so I'm very distracted. I'm not a very smart person. I can't do more than one thing at a time. And there's 4 ladies fights on this card. I got it. I'm sorry. I'll be less distracted in 1 second. We need like a Jamie to do the stuff instead of me. Ray,
Yeah.
this should be your job. Mixon thinks this is going to be a high output fight. And you can click on there and then go to the promo code and you can put in McCarthy or you can put in Pesno and then she will get credit for the ticket. But don't do that because she's not on a podcast now. Anthony Mixon is a teammate of Ashley, but he's one of the best fighters on the K4 circuit too. And obviously, he thinks this is going to be a high-paced fight. I also think this is going to be a high-paced fight. What do you think? Is this going to be a more technical fight, or do you think it's going to be pretty high-paced, Paige?
I think it'll be more high-paced than the first two.
I think so too. Ashley comes pretty straightforward. I've been watching the training videos, and she's really starting to make angles. I know she's got a hell of a head kick, and I know her clinch is going to be much better this fight. So I'm excited to see her improvements. I know she was so disappointed in the first fight, and like I've trained with her and I've coached her, and like um, I think she's a great fighter. I don't mean to like I know I'm interviewing her and I'm interviewing you and I'm talking about her, but I think this is going to be a really good matchup, and I was really excited when this one was signed. I think this is a great fight for both you guys, and I think whoever wins this fight is in line for the next big thing in K4.
Yeah.
Prediction, Caveman. Prediction. Who you got? Who you think
Who do
gonna
I
win this
have for
fight?
this fight?
Yeah.
Man, this is a tough one to call because I don't know the improvements that Ashley made. So I think if Paige and Ashley fought from Ashley's first fight, I think Paige takes that fight. Paige is definitely more schooled. She controls the punching and kicking range a little bit better,
Yeah.
and she's physically stronger. I know Ashley's been putting in a ton of work and really working on her angles, so I'm actually interested to see this one.
Yep.
I know that Ashley needs this win really bad, and Paige seems like really nice. So I don't know, like I don't know about this one. I think it's gonna go to the decision, and I don't know. I really wish I would have seen Ashley in the gym this training camp because I think whoever's got the third round is gonna win this fight. I think Paige is gonna take the first round. I think Ashley's going to adjust, and I know with her corner, she's really going to get the clinch in. I think this is going to be the determining factor of the fight, like how the clinch goes. And I think Ashley's going to start to take over in the second. I think she's going to really start to be able to land her head kick. She does a really good job of figuring out the range on the head kick. And I think the way that Gamma scored, like the varying techniques, is really going to play a factor in the scoring. And then the third round is going to be who's in better shape.
I
And
think
from what I've seen of Paige so far, I would say Paige. But I know how hard Ashley's been working. She's been going to 2 gyms. So I think this one's another one that's really tough to call. I think it's going to really come down to the third round and who wants it more. And I think the fighter that put more time in training is going to be the one that wins this fight. And Paige doesn't think that Ashley's going to win the second round. I can tell. She's giving me the evil eyes. But I think that she adjusts really well, and I think her corner is really good at making in-fight adjustments. I know Bruce is really good too. And if Paige doesn't make it out, if it doesn't get out of the first round, then I think Paige wins too. Look at her. How's that for prediction?
I think Paige wins.
Yeah.
I think
look at that.
A lot more.
I think she go wear down Ashley with the knees and leg kicks and get the decision.
See, like I said, Ashley didn't train as much at both gyms for the first fight, and I think it really showed in her conditioning. And when you see a fighter go from their first fight to the second fight, it's hard. There's a huge difference. Like you can look at, I'm sure you felt it too in your second fight. Like it was way different. Your conditioning's way better because you're not getting that dump in the second round where you die. And I think that it's going to be a different Ashley Pesno on this fight. But Paige is 3 fights in. She's undefeated. She flows really well, striking wise, and she does a good job controlling the distance. And like I said, she's been physically dominant in both her fights. And I really want to see, like, working with Doyle, man. I'm telling you, there's magic to Sean Doyle. So I'm excited to see how this fight. And she works with Mackenzie Musgrove like every day, and that's a tough. That girl is tough, and I don't know. Like I really think that Ashley's gonna win the second, and I think the third's gonna come down to conditioning. I really, really do, and I think who's ever in better shape is gonna take the third round.
I think whoever got the better leg kicks.
Who's got the better leg kicks, Paige?
I don't know.
How do you say you don't know? You gotta say I have the better leg kicks. That's your job. You're the fighter.
I know. Like myself. I think I have good leg kicks.
You do.
I think you have the best leg kicks that we've seen in the women's fight. And Ray talks about it every time you fight, right? Oh, that's a good leg kick. I remember you saying that
Oh yeah.
when she was fighting Christy or Christina. I'm sorry, Christina. I keep calling her Christy. I do think you have better leg kicks than Ashley as well. I think Ashley's got better head kicks though, so like it's an interesting dynamic. Like it's hard to say because dude, that Kennard girl is so tall too. Like such a different fight. I'm really excited to see this one.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a big difference for her fighting someone taller and then someone who's equal size.
Yeah. How do you think you would do against Kennard?
I mean, well, one, I think they fought 145,
Yes.
which I don't think I would ever do a 145 fight. I think 140 is probably the heaviest I would go, but I mean, I would do it.
How would you control the knees?
But
How would you control the knees? That was like the real determining factor in that fight.
I think I'd probably try to work the distance more.
Yeah. I mean, that girl was kneeing at like Ashley's punch is out and she's eating knees and the punch is not getting there. This is like crazy. Like it's such a length difference. Like I've never been knee when my punch is extended out, you know, like that should be out of knee range. And she was like getting knee where punch is extended. It was like it's a crazy distance. That girl is like awkward.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be tough. Cause I don't know how tall I don't remember how tall Ashley is, but she might have like even on me.
I believe she's just slightly taller than you. If you guys were standing next to each other, it'd be like I think she's gonna be like about that much taller.
Yeah.
You're pretty close in height, and I think you might actually have reach on her. You have kind of long arms.
I know.
Like that's also not an insult. I mean, that sounds weird, but I think you have a slight reach on her, even though she's a little bit taller.
Yeah, it's a compliment when you're talking about something that you want reach for.
Probably don't have any trouble getting anything out of the top cover like I do. I have to stand on a chair. I'm short as shit too.
Yeah.
All right, we're about out of time. Do you have any sponsors to thank?
No.
No sponsors. All right, so if there's anyone watching on the show, we could definitely use some sponsors for Paige. She could be the next big thing. She's undefeated in K4. Obviously, she thinks she's going to win this fight, and Ray thinks she's going to win this fight. I got to stick up for Ashley and be like the devil's advocate. Plus, I think Ashley's going to do a good job. Like, I really think the clinch is going to determine this fight. I really think she's done a lot of work in there, and I think if you can keep the range and not let her make the clinch, I think you win the fight too. I do think that you're better in that open range, but I think this fight is going to be all over the place. So I'm really excited to see this one. There's a lot of fights on this card. Normally I can like go down a card and say who's going to win and make pretty good odds. There's a lot of fights on this card. I'm like, man, I really don't know what's going to happen, and that's pretty rare in amateur MMA because normally you know what's going to happen. Like the Gabe Vega fight, I have no idea what's going to happen. Your guys' fight, I don't know what's going to happen. The co-main event, I don't know what's going to happen. That fight with oh man, I forgot. Ray's his opponent. Oh my god. What is a honey badger's real name? I can't think of his real name. Ray.
Oh, damn.
Brett Vallone. Oh my god, I
Yeah.
couldn't think of Brett Vallone's real name. All I could think is honey badger. Like when I think of him, I think of honey badger. So Vallone and Ray, that's going to be such a good fight too. Like I don't know who's going to win that one. There's so many close fights on this card. Yeah, thanks, Joe. I you can tell I got hit in the head a lot today. I try not to do these after I got scarred. I got Cam's getting ready for a fight, so like, and the Bills game today, so it's just me, him, and Deshaun. So like, it's a lot of sparring rounds for me with the big guys. So I'm a little bit banged up, but thank you so much for coming on. Let's get Paige's sponsor. Remember K4 McCarthy, and she will get credit for the ticket sales. Lombard MMA. You guys, every time you guys come out, you guys put on a show. There's not been one bad fighter from your gym ever. And I love that you guys all color match on the shorts too. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, pretty uniform, like with our sweatshirts and sweatpants for weigh-ins. We wear the same shorts and for Saturday.
I love it. I can't wait to see you guys fight, and I will see you in just a few days. Thank you so much for your time, Paige.
Yeah, thanks for.
Don't miss it. Also, since you're like so far everyone that's come on the podcast has won. So I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Ray
yeah.
Ray threw us a good mojo by getting you on the podcast today. So we'll see how it goes.
Now that someone actually asked me.
I'm sorry. I've wanted to get you on here for a long time, and it's my fault. I apologize one more time. Thank you for sticking it to me on the exit. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Paige. Great to have you on. Let's get you back again as soon as this fight's over.
Okay.
All right.